Hey guys, Michael from Fire and Brilliance. And today's episode, I have a very special episode for you today. It will be about 5 reasons why people love Alexandrite gemstones. And if you do not know what Alexandrite gemstones are, you are in for a treat. Okay, so Alexandrite gemstones have been quite popular the last couple of years, regardless if you're buying in the lab form or the natural form, right? But I'll go ahead and give you a few reasons and some really fun facts of Alexandrite so that you can actually, especially if you're in the market and you're trying to learn about these gemstones or you don't know which one to pick. Alexandrite, again, is a very, very, very popular option. Okay, so here are 5 reasons why people love Alexandrite gemstones. Number one, this I would say is by far probably the most popular reason why people love Alexandrites is because of their color changing capabilities. Yes, you heard that right. It's actually a gemstone that will change colors depending on the lighting environment. Whoa, right? So I mean, what you may say, well, what does that even mean? Well, let me give you an idea here. So the Alexandrite will be about a bluish green, right, in natural light, and it'll turn a reddish purple in indoor lighting. So basically, in artificial lighting, right? So if it's in warmer lighting, you may actually see a purplish red type of Alexandrite gemstone color. But then if you take it out to daylight during the day, it's more of a bluish green. So that's really the reason why it's so popular. It changes colors almost like chameleon-like, right? So it's a beautiful gemstone. Especially if you're into more of the bolder colors, the purples, the blues, the greens, and the reds, right? So that is the one of the main reasons, if not the most popular reasons, as to why people like Alexandrites. The number two reason is because of its rarity. Yes, you heard that right. And you may ask, okay, well, Michael, I understand you're from Fire and Brilliance, and you guys really pay attention, or your audience is really caters to the lab created form, right? So if you're offering lab created Alexandrites, then what do you mean by rare? Well, what we're talking about here is the natural Alexandrites, right? The natural Alexandrites are actually quite rare. The misconception of diamonds being rare, and I think I've gone over this many times in the past. If you're new to the channel, then you may have not heard it from me yet, but you could definitely check out some of our Geminars in the last couple of years. But natural diamonds, the misconception is that it's rare. It's actually quite plentiful. It is definitely limited in supply. I'm referring to natural diamonds. But it is not rare, right? So there's been a lot of marketing over the last couple of decades that makes it sound as if it's more rare than it is. However, there are many colored gemstones that occur naturally that are much more rare than diamonds. Okay, and you can definitely fact check to me. This is definitely true. In the case of Alexandrites, if they are very large and if they have a beautiful mechanism of changing colors, and if the coloration of the gemstone comes out beautifully, if the clarity grade is high, and it's actually quite rare. And matter of fact, it can be much more pricey than that of natural diamonds, believe it or not. Many colored gemstones such as Alexandrites, especially if it is rare, big in carat weight, high clarity grade, beautiful color, and all of that. Again, it can be very high valued. So let me go ahead and give you an idea here. Most gemstones occur, or most Alexandrites anyway, occur in various parts of the world. Alexandrites are more rare and are found in few areas around the world, including India, Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Zimbabwe, and Brazil. So they're all over the world, by the way. And obviously in very specific countries, but they're kind of scattered all over the world. Now that said, Alexandrite is more expensive than sapphire, ruby, and emeralds. Now, there's a caveat there, right? So you want to put a little asterisk. Of course, if you're saying they're more expensive, we have to compare apples to apples. Is it the same size? Is the color saturation a certain type? Is the clarity grade high? Is it cut to perfection? Right. So if we're comparing apples to apples, then yes, Alexandrite can be much more expensive than the rarest of the sapphires, rubies, and emeralds. Obviously, if it's a low quality or low clarity grade Alexandrite and versus a high clarity grade ruby, then that's a different story. The ruby might be worth more. So obviously, don't take it out of context. What we're saying here is compare apples to apples. If you are comparing apples to apples in terms of all the quality and carat weight, Alexandrites tend to be more expensive than the others, okay? Because of how rare it is. Now, that said, so that's the second reason, because of how rare it is. But at the same time, the beautiful thing about today's world is that it is in lab form, just like most gemstones, most colored gemstones, as well as even colorless gemstones such as moissanite and diamonds are in lab form nowadays. So if you are looking for a beautiful stone and you do not have the budget of a very rare stone, because it can, again, it could be in the tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, okay, depending on the size of the stone and so forth. So but then if you are just trying to purchase a beautiful stone and don't want to spend that kind of money, obviously it's also in lab form. All right. So number three, the reason why people love Alexandrites is because it's celebrated in birthdays. So in other words, it is said that Alexandrite was discovered on the birthday of the Tsar Alexander II of Russia, giving the gemstone a significant association of royalty, right? So Alexandrite was originally discovered in Russia in 1834. And let me give you a fun fact, okay? So the first Alexandrite specimen in history was found in the Ural Mountains by Niels Gustav, a Finnish mineralogist and traveler who first misidentified it as an emerald. Okay, so well, basically the gem was in honor of the Russian Tsar Alexander II, as I had mentioned earlier, and the discovery took place on the future of the Tsar's 16th birthday. All right, so that's just a fun fact in terms of the history of Alexandrite, and because it was dedicated to Alexander II, I believe that's the reason why it's called Alexandrite. I don't know if that for a fact, but I believe that's the reason why. Okay, so number four, the reason why people love Alexandrite is because of the variety of shapes that it is available in. Okay, so obviously, as in most gemstones, you can find Alexandrites also in pairs, rounds, ovals, cushions, trillions, you name it, they probably have it. Okay, marquee. Emeralds, emerald cut. I mean, not the actual emerald gemstone, right? So, as you can see in this picture here, there's a variety of shapes here with the ovals, rounds, pairs, and the cushion. And you can even see the variety of colors that you're seeing here. One is more of a darker, deeper purplish red, whereas the other ones is more of a teal blue, has a green to it, right? So as I had mentioned earlier, depending on the lighting environment, it'll give off a different type of color, right? So so the variety of shapes, and guess what? Here's another fun fact. The largest faceted Alexandrite weighs approximately, guess, 66 carats. Can you imagine wearing a 66 carat Alexandrite? Oh baby, I mean, imagine having that on one side of the ear. If you like to wear earrings, your earlobe might actually give out in the next couple of hours or so. But 66 carats. Okay, so again, if you are into Alexandrites, a 66 carat Alexandrite is probably much more expensive than that of a 66 carat diamond. So if you really like to flex, buy a 66 carat Alexandrite. And when people ask you, just say this costs more than a diamond. That said, I'm just having too much fun here. So number five, the last but not least reason why people love Alexandrite is not because of the physical attributes, not because of the actual rarity, not because of the color changing attributes, or even because of the history of where it was found, but it is because of the symbol of luck and abundance. Yes. Many gemstones are associated with a very specific characteristic when it comes to symbolism. An Alexandrite specifically is a symbol of luck and abundance. And here's a fun fact. In India, these stones are seen as a symbol of luck and abundance and are said to bring good health and success, as well as relieve of depression, right? So so it's actually quite beautiful in all aspects. These are the main reasons, rather, as to why people love Alexandrites. But I do want to give you a few, other fun facts, just so that you can, if you are already tuned in and you want to learn. Alexandrite has an astounding hardness. I mentioned it many times in the past that diamonds, when you are measuring it on a Mohs scale, right? A Mohs scales measure the hardness of a gemstone. Diamond is a 10 out of 10, so it is the hardest gemstone on Earth. Okay, a moissanite is second to that, anywhere between 9.25 to 9.5. But if you find any gemstones that are anywhere between an 8 to a 10, it's still considered very, very hard, right? Now that said, an alexandrite ranks at 8.5 on the Mohs scale. The Alexandrite gemstone is one of the hardest minerals in the planet, right? This feature makes it highly favorable in jewelry craftsmanship. So, what I mean by that is, in terms of jewelry, when you are setting a gemstone, it's much more favorable to set a gemstone that is harder, to avoid chipping, to avoid, any kind of abrasions to the gemstone. Okay, so when it comes to a hard gemstone, you do want to, and that actually favors you when you're setting the gemstone, or at least it helps out the jeweler anyway, when they are setting the gemstone. Okay, so let us know your thoughts. I mean, do you like these fun 5 reasons as to why people love Alexandrites? And if you are a lover of Alexandrites and I missed one of the points, what is your reasoning? Why do you love Alexandrite? And would you choose Alexandrite, right? Would you rock it? Is it a stone that you would wear? Again, it is in a natural as well as the lab form. And if you don't know already, we are Fire and Brilliance. You can definitely check out our Alexandrite line. We do have our own line, Fab Alexandrites, at fireandbrilliance.com. If you want to check it out, I'll definitely leave the link below for you so you can check it out later for yourself. Okay, so that said, if you haven't checked out last week's episode, I did 2 parts of what I predicted in the jewelry business in 2023. One was a week before that, and one last week. So if you haven't checked those out already, definitely check it out in the link to your right hand side. You could easily tap or click it as soon as this live stream is over. Thanks again so much for tuning in, and I will see you. Actually, we do have another one that's coming up Friday, and I'm going to give you 5 reasons why people love red rubies. Okay, so definitely tune in then, and I'll see you on Friday. Goodbye.